Hi guys and welcome, and this video is just a little bit of a general update about things. I've been quite busy with family and what have you, so I've not been getting a great deal done recently. But one thing I have got, finally, is some fabulous Skipper Ted stickers to go on my spray booth of stickeriness. And of course we all know what we do with Skipper Ted stickers. We peel off the sticker, we locate an ideal slot like just here for example, and then we place it very, very carefully, making sure it's level and neat and tidy. And no, of course we don't. What we do is we slap it on. So, big thumbs up. Thank you, Ted. I feel like my sticker wall is now complete with your sticker slapped on at a slightly wonky but rakishly cool angle. So yeah, that's cool. I'm sure I could probably squeeze another couple of stickers on there if there's any of you other guys out there with stickers you want to send to me. So, but yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with that. So thanks, Ted, for that one. Now, if you want to nip over to the bench, we'll have a look at what's been going on. Just before we go to the bench and have a look at the latest bits and pieces, I just want to sort of quickly show you some modifications to my extractor setup. You'll notice the extractor is not your conventional kind of fold-outy thing. This is one that I picked up from a commercial unit, and a very powerful extractor fan and charcoal filter and the whole thing. I love this thing. It's brilliant extractor. But being intended for commercial unit use, it's intended to sit on a stand and be used like so, and it doesn't have a flat platform to spray on. And also the hood only comes out to here. Now, this is a bit of a Heath Robinson bodge up to achieve a goal of having something that's more workable, and not something I would normally put on a video. But I was talking to a fella who bought a painting stand from me, and who I got chatting to, and a chap called Mark, who I think also I've converted into proper coffee drinker, so it's all good. And I was talking to him about this modification and what have you, and he said, oh yeah, throw a video together, and I'm sure that other people will be interested, so hopefully so. But essentially what I've done is I've created an extension hood which is made out of corrugated plastic. This is the kind of stuff that you will see signs made from. This particular one is a box that had leaks in, and once it was emptied I gave it a wash out, clean out, cut it up into bits, made an extended hood. I then bought a very cheap LED strip, which is multicolour LED strip, self-adhesive backing, which I glued in here. I glued some reflective tape that you buy from hardware stores. It's for putting round heating ducts and that kind of thing, and it's really handy for quite a lot of things. And I stuck that up there just to reflect the light down, and it plugs into a USB lead which goes into a normal 5-volt plug. When I want to spray, I just plug it in like so. You'll have noticed, well, I don't know how well it'll have shown up on the video, but you might have noticed the different colours flashing there as it plugged in. And it's because each of these LEDs is made up of 3 little individual red, green, blue LEDs. And when you light all of them together, you get white. And when you light them in various amounts, percentages, you get different shades, or individually you get red, green, well, obviously green, red and blue, obviously, and then varying shades of the 2 or 3, and you get varying shades of colour. And it's got a little controller on here. You can change the colour, you can cycle through them. For me, the purpose of this was purely to have some light in here for when I'm spraying, because when you're spraying you need some light on the subject that you're spraying to get some reflectance to see when you've got a wet coat and that kind of thing, because it's very tricky. And what I was having to do before was bend my desk light over here, and then I'm having to sort of hold it, and it's just really awkward and uncomfortable. And in addition to that, I wanted to be able to spray things, put them down, rather than have to turn around and put them down on my bench over here. So I thought what I need to do is make a stand, a little table or something in front of here. But I don't want something permanent. I want something I can put up and take down easily and quickly, that's not going to take up much room. And then I thought, well, I've got some sheets of plywood kicking around, and I found this one which was about yay high, and I thought, you know, that's perfect. All I need to do is chop a bit off there to make a ledge, And then the initial plan was I was going to screw it to there and make it solid with a couple of strips of wood and just screw it through to hold it in. And I thought it'd be kind of nice if I could close that up and tuck it away. And I thought, I'll go and get myself a piano hinge. But then I thought, well, hang on a minute. I wonder if I could print a hinge. So I had a quick look on Thingiverse and found a parametric customizable hinge. And as you can see there, we have two parametric print in place hinges, which are just held on by double-sided sticky. It's surprisingly solid, as you can see there. It's not, that's not going anywhere unless I physically knock it sideways. And then I can take my stand like so and sit it on there and spin that around and spray, and I've got the light shining on there, and it just makes things so much easier. Likewise with the sprues, same kind of thing, but what I can do is sort of take sprue, spray it, and if need be I can just sit it down for a moment, sort of even stand it up there in the corner, something like that, without having to constantly move around and put things in other places, which could be a little bit tedious at times, a little bit annoying. So that's my little update. Not hugely exciting, but it might be helpful to some of you. But we're now going to scoot over to the bench and take a look and see what's on there. A quick update on what's happening on the bench. Well, first of all, you will see some marine stuff going on. This is the Warhammer Conquest magazine, issue 2 of issue 1 of which I was not able to get a copy because they sold crazy fast, and I just could not find one despite trolling all over town on the day I happened to go to town. I live in a tiny village, incidentally, so my choices are very limited here, although the local co-op is typically very good, so chances are they probably had 2 or 3 copies in, but I suspect, like everywhere else, they sold out like lightning. But I did go to town on the Saturday after release, I think, and I could not find a single copy anywhere. I don't know much about the game at all. I've literally just been reading a little bit about it in this magazine, this Conquest magazine, and as interesting as it sounds, I'm probably not going to even think about taking it up because I don't have the time to dedicate to painting up an army and then actually finding like-minded individuals to play Warhammer stuff with. Again, as I say, I'm in a small village. Chances are I would have to travel some considerable distance. It would be a pain in the backside. Maybe if I was near a big city I might be tempted, but by the by. But I am thoroughly enjoying playing with the models. This is one of said models, and these particular ones, I got this one, issue 2, because I thought these characters were just great. These are Plague Marines, and they are former Space Marines that have become horribly mutated, and they have bulging, horrible sort of weirdness happening. So this little fella right here, I don't know how well he's going to show up on the screen. Hopefully we'll get you a close-up of him in a moment, but you can see his guts kind of all bulging out, and it's got teeth in, and there's all sort of rotten flesh with bulgy teeth and this kind of thing, and he's drooling and he's going bleh, and he's sticking his tongue out and stuff. So it's very cool. He's got skulls on his backpack, and he's got a mutated hand and a big rusty chopper of a sword, and yeah, it's really cool. And there are 2 other figures which I have not yet built, and some olive drab, or what do they call it? Death Guard Green. I love the Games Workshop paint name colours. So that's Death Guard Green, and obviously with this one as well, you get some dice. And the reason you get dice is, in addition to the magazine, with this one, you get a cool and funky game base to play on. And on one side you've got a cargo deck, and you chop off this bit, and these are your measuring ujami bobs for how far you advance with each dice roll and shooting your enemy and all that guff, apparently. I've only had a very brief read, so I'm not expert on this, but yeah, so you get a cargo deck on one side, and on the other side you get just a plain battlefield, which is really cool, with a couple of grates. But you can obviously put your own terrain on there and set up your own battlefields and work around it, which is really cool. I thought that was quite nice. So you got the nice thick card play mat. You get the magazine, which they're obviously aimed at beginners, and it's kind of nice actually, because this is exactly the sort of thing that is going to get younger people into model kit building, because then they get started with this kind of thing, get into painting, and this is a brilliant way to start, because miniatures is something I'm sadly lacking in the skill of painting. So as far as I'm concerned, this is an absolutely fantastic way to start, because you start learning to brush paint and start learning to go for fine detail early on. Whereas when I started out with things like Airfix Spitfires and Hurricanes and FW190s, 109s, Lancasters, Mosquitoes, you know, the like. And with those you tended to just kind of like, a la Ted, slap it on umbrella enamel and end up with fingerprints in it, because you couldn't be patient enough to wait for it to dry, which hardly surprising when you're a kid. So you kind of, with these, I think, I might be wrong, but I think if any kid who's starting with these as their first models is actually going to learn how to detail much earlier, which is going to put them in very good stead for later on, because picking up the simpler things like airbrushing large areas of larger model kits, they're going to pick up much more quickly than they are picking up detailing, because that's something I'm just kind of looking at getting into a little bit. And you'll have seen, if you watch my little Nelly build, that I did the James Bond figure that sits in there, and that was probably my second, I think the second figure I've ever painted. So it's very daunting, even as an experienced model kit builder, painting figures if you haven't done it, because there are so many variations and shades on the skin colours and what have you. So this I think is really cool. So yes, we've got a bit of Warhammers going on. I've picked this up. I've not been very active of late because I had my brother visiting, so I've been busy being a tourist, which is not something I get much chance to do. It's been kind of nice, relaxing, and having someone to chat to, and I even managed to avoid him talking about too much football, which is a miracle in itself, let me tell you, having lived with him for numerous years growing up. Ooh, football, wow. He's probably the main reason I hate football so much. But anyway, by the by, it's kind of been nice having a bit of company and everything, so it's good. Over here, I'm going to talk about these in a separate video, because these are some 3D printed minifigures, and this lady in particular right here is going to be going along with my Cappuccino, which is here, but I'll explain that in a separate video. So we're going to chuck that aside for a moment. Whoops, and knock things over. Good job, that was empty. So that's the Warhammers that I'm currently playing with, and as you can see, this little fella here, they come in green, but he's been primed in a base coat of Vallejo something or other grey, which it just happened to be a grey, and it was to hand. So that's had an all over base coat, and then I'm going to pick some colours for him. I'm thinking something in red, I think would suit his overall plague-ridden demeanour, and we'll see how that goes. And here we have the body tub of the Cappuccino, which has been primed in a lacquer primer in white, and it has been flattered and smoothed, which may or may not be evident if I can kind of rotate that around so it catches the light for you. But that's been flattered and smoothed and in readiness for a top coat, which I'm still as yet undecided on. One thing I do know is it's going to have some manga or anime type decals, and I'm kind of going for the slightly OTT decaled Japanese street racer thing, and I'm going to use, certainly the entire bonnet area is going to be one large decal of something. I don't know what yet. I'm googling images left, right and centre. Possibly the doors, I don't know, and I've yet still got to decide on a colour for the main body, but that's the main body shell in primer. And likewise we've got the rest of the bits and pieces, the floor pan there, and the other couple of sprues of bits and bobs in primer. So not a huge amount of progress on the Cappuccino. But as I say, it just happens to be, I started that when I had a whole load of other things coming up and happening. I had a holiday coming up with my son, and then sorting out family things, and then my brother coming up to visit, and goodness knows what else. So it's just been kind of been one thing after another. And in between all that, of course, I've just gotten the 3D printer, so I've been busy playing with that. There's, you know, the whole new toy syndrome thing. So there we are with that. I'm going to leave this video here for now, and hopefully the next video with regards to the Cappuccino will be an actual proper update video on the Cappuccino build, where I will have some colour on some parts and maybe some sub-assemblies together. And thank you for watching, and thank you to Skipper Ted for the stickers, very, very much appreciated. And keep getting better, Ted. I hope you're well, and I hope you're taking it easy. It's nice to see you in the live streams, but take it easy, don't overdo it. And we all miss you, so get well soon. So we'll leave it there for now, and we'll see you in the next video. So thank you for watching.